तंबूले राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा अज्ञाय कोरिबो सेवा चरण रविंद अज्ञाय कोरिबो सेवा चरण रविंद राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासरनुदास श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासरनुदास सेवा विलास करे नरोत्तम दास सेवा विलास करे नरोत्तम दास राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna and a very warm welcome to all of you for this Radhasthami Special session where we will be preparing our consciousness to welcome Srimati RadhaRani tomorrow. So as we know, Radhasthami is tomorrow and this marks the appearance day of Srimati RadhaRani. So we will hear a little bit about RadhaRani so that our mind, we absorb her, we get into that consciousness and we can do full justice to tomorrow's festival. So come along with me and we will see in next 1 hour the glories of Srimati RadhaRani. So now today I have chosen a very specific incident from a very beautiful book. This book is titled Brihad Bhagavatamrit. So this is one of the scriptures and it was written by Sanatan Goswami, and this has lot of conversation, and especially one particular thing which is very important is a conversation of Narad Muni. So when we come to that, so let's try briefly to understand what is this book Brihad Bhagavatamrit. So as we all know about Srimad Bhagavatam and how Parikshit Maharaj heard Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights just before he was about to be, he was preparing himself to leave his body. So just after he completed hearing this whole thing of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uttara came to her and she said that I know you don't have enough time. I know you would be leaving soon. But since you have received so much of bliss, so much of nectar, can you give me in just the condensed bliss? So you have received all what you have received in 7 days and 7 nights. If you have to compile it and give it to me, then can you do that for me in like few minutes or like a very short time? So then he agrees, and then what he speaks is recorded as Brihad Bhagavatamrit. So Brihad Bhagavatamrit has 2 parts. One is Narad Muni is searching for a great devotee, and second is the journey of Gop Kumaras from Govardhan to Goloka. So today I am going to narrate a little bit about Narad Muni's search for a great devotee, this particular section from Brihad Bhagavatamrit. So Narad Muni had this question, he had this desire to discover who is the best devotee of the Supreme Lord. Who is that one person who has received the maximum mercy of Krishna? So with this thought, with this consciousness, he started roaming around and he was just checking out and finding out. So one day he reaches a Brahmana at Prayag. So he finds that this Brahmana, during that Kumbh Mela time, he observes that this Brahmana had also come there and he has brought his Shaligram Shila and he is very nicely engaged in worshipping the Shaligram Shila. So with all the rules and regulations, he properly worships his Shaligram Shila. And after that, what he does is, he offers bhoga to his Shaligram and then he distributes that bhoga to everybody who he is able to meet, and he is giving, for all these things, he is giving credit to the Supreme Lord. So Narad Muni was very impressed and he said that probably you are the best devotee, you are so humble, you are so simple, your life is revolving around just serving Shaligram, who is not different from the Supreme Lord. So he was very, very happy to meet this Brahman. But when this Brahman hears this, he immediately says, no, there is nothing like me, I am no great person. In fact, if you are really looking for a topmost devotee, then he tells a particular king in South India. He says that king is so amazing and you must go and see him. And then this Brahman said, whatever I am doing is at a very, very small scale, wherein I am meeting just few people and giving them prasad. I am not able to influence so many people. But if you will meet this king of South India, then you would realize that how he is asking all his citizens to follow Krishna consciousness. How every day he is organizing festivals for glorifying the Supreme Lord. How he is busy in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he tells that this particular king of South India is probably the best devotee. So Narad Muni thanks him and then he continues his journey forward, and then finally he reaches and meets this king in South India. So when he meets this king and he starts glorifying this king and he starts telling that, when he reaches, actually he observes that king was in the process of organizing a huge festival for the worship of the Supreme Lord. So Narad Muni was very impressed and he said, you are doing your duties so appropriately. Like you are the one who is gathering everyone in your country and you are channelizing them, you are inspiring them, you are utilizing them in the service of the Supreme Lord. So he said, you are the best devotee of the Lord, and Narad Muni was very, very happy. When the king heard this, he, on the contrary, he said that probably what you are saying is a big mistake. He said, I am a king and I have a very short-lived life. Like I will not be living for very long. So even if I am doing certain things, but it is for a very short time span. And then secondly, he says, because I am the king, I am full of these rajasic and tamasic qualities in the mode of passion and ignorance. So he says, I am not good enough. But then if you are really looking for a nice devotee of the Supreme Lord, the best devotee of the Supreme Lord, then he says, then probably you should go to Svargaloka. Because if you go to Svargaloka and there you would find Indra. And he says that all the devatas there, they are in mode of goodness. And then this Indra, he is the king of all the demigods. He is the king of heaven. And how wonderfully he is serving his brother Vaman Dev, who is not different from Vishnu himself. So the king convinces Narad Muni that it is not him, but it is Indra who is the best devotee of the Lord. So hearing this, Narad Muni thanks the king and then he again goes forward and he reaches Indralok. So when he comes to Indralok, he actually sees exactly what this king had told him. So he sees that Indra is there and he is actually busy in worshipping Vaman Dev. So he was very, very happy to meet Indra and he starts glorifying, Narad Muni starts glorifying Indra. He says that you are so wonderful and you are so glorious and you are serving Vaman Dev directly. So you are the best devotee. When Indra heard this, Indra said, I am always very, very insecure. I'm basically an insecure person. Whenever somebody does some homa or yagya or austerity on the earthly planets, then I become so agitated and I tend to stop them and oppose them. So how come I am a better person? And he says that all these demigods, we also keep quarreling amongst each other. We keep cursing the other people. In fact, Indra also describes that how once when Krishna took a parijat flower from heaven, he actually declared a battle against Krishna. So Indra said, what to talk of me? I am just useless. And then he said, and all these demigods also, like how Varuna, one day he kidnapped Nand Maharaj, how Yamaraj, he took away the sons of Sandipani Muni. So all that he started describing, and he said, we are not really good devotees. But if you really want to meet the best devotee, you must go to Satyaloka, where you will find Lord Brahma. And he said that Brahma is the most powerful, and his lifespan is so much that in one day of Brahma, 14 different Indras come. So he says that he is the wonderful devotee. He has directly taken birth from the navel of Vishnu. So who can be more fortunate? And then he says he assists the Supreme Lord in the whole process of creation. So Indra started glorifying Brahma, and Narada thanks Indra, and then he proceeds and he goes ahead and he meets Brahma. So when he sees Brahma was sitting on this lotus flower, and he sees Brahma, and then he starts glorifying Brahma. And he said, Narad Muni says that I was looking for the best devotee of the Lord, and I am very, very happy that finally I have found you, I have come here. So Brahma said, you are talking about me, like me as a good devotee. And then Brahma starts talking about himself. So Brahma says that I think you don't remember, Narad Muni, but I was the one who actually stole all Krishna's friends. So there is this Brahma Vimohan Leela in Srimad Bhagavatam where there is that description. So Brahma reminds him that I am the one who actually stole Krishna's friends and gave him so much of anxiety for 1 year. And then he said, I am not even intelligent enough. I keep giving boons to demons like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, and then they become so proud and they do all these nasty things. So he said, I am nowhere close to a good devotee. And then he said that I may live for 100 years, and in my one day 14 Indras may change, but then still I am not eternal. I die after 100 years. I mean 100 years of his calculation. So he said, even I die. So he said, so I am also not permanent. So hearing that, then then Narad started thinking, oh, so where do I find this person? Then Brahma suggested, if you are really looking for the wonderful devotee of the Lord, you must go to Kailash. You will find Lord Shiva there. And then Brahma starts glorifying Lord Shiva. So he said that how Lord Shiva is constantly meditating on the Supreme Lord. He is constantly meditating on Vishnu, and that is why one of his name is Shankar. So Shankar, the name he gets because he constantly meditates on Shankarsan, or an expansion of Vishnu. So he says, and then Shiva is so humble also that he smears ashes all over his body. He wears a garland of bones. And all this he does, why? Because he wants to give mercy to people who are in Tamogun also. So he has such a compassionate heart, he is such a humble personality. So he is the one who must be worshipped. So who is the best devotee. So he said, so if you want to meet the best devotee, you must go to Kailash. So Narad Muni thanks Brahma, and then he further goes ahead and he reaches Mount Kailash. And when he reaches Kailash, he sees that Lord Shiva is actually sitting in meditation. He is actually meditating on Krishna or Sankarshan. So he becomes very, very happy and he starts praising Lord Shiva. And he says that how wonderfully you are giving the mercy to the most fallen people. How those people who are not at all interested in coming to the Supreme Lord, you are giving mercy to them also. You go to crematoriums and you help people there also. So he starts glorifying and he says, I am so happy that I have found the best devotee of the Lord who has received the maximum mercy of the Supreme Lord. So when he tells that to Shiva, Shiva starts speaking. And Shiva says, I am actually in charge of Tamogun. And I fought with the Supreme Lord. So then he starts telling the pastime of Aniruddha and Usha. So like how Aniruddha wanted to marry and then Shiva had to come and Shiva fought with Krishna. So that whole detail Shiva describes there. And then Shiva says that in fact I sometimes go to the material world and I preach Mayavad philosophy. So he says, so that way I offend the Supreme Lord. So I am not at all a good devotee. And then Shiva starts glorifying and mentioning that if you really want to meet the nice devotee, then you must go to Sutala Lok. In Sutala Lok, you will find Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, who is Prahlad Maharaj? He is the son of Hiranyakashipu, if we remember. So he starts telling that you go there and you will find Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj is such a wonderful devotee that to protect him, the Supreme Lord himself appeared. So he says that just a small boy, and just to protect that small boy, the Supreme Lord himself had come. So you can understand the fortune of this boy and how much devotion this boy has. And then he starts further glorifying Prahlad Maharaj, that how when Nrsimhadev offered him that you can ask for any benediction, whatever you want, I am ready to give you, dear Prahlad. And on that Prahlad Maharaj said, I do not want anything, all I want is devotional service. So he said, so that is glorious. A 5-year-old boy and he's just asking for devotional service. Who can be more exalted than him? So if you want the best devotee, you must go to Sutala Lok and meet Prahlad Maharaj. So again Narad Muni thanks Lord Shiva and he starts traveling towards Sutala Loka, and then he reaches and he finds Prahlad Maharaj. So when he sees Prahlad Maharaj, he starts glorifying first Lord Nrsimhadev, and how Nrsimhadev, just because Prahlad said that if he is like Hiranyakashipu asked him that if your Lord is in this pillar, and just to fulfill that statement of Prahlad, that when Prahlad said yes, he is there in this pillar, so Nrsimhadev actually came out of that pillar, and how he personally protected and saved Prahlad Maharaj. So Narad Muni started describing all those things and Narad Muni started praising Prahlad Maharaj. So when all this happened, Prahlad Maharaj said that I am remembered only for remembering the Supreme Lord. Because if you remember Navavidhi Bhakti, 9 devotional services, so Smaranam, the example we give is of Prahlad Maharaj. So he said, I am just focused on remembering the Supreme Lord, but I never got a fortune to serve the Supreme Lord, to do something for the Supreme Lord. I would just think of him, that's all. I have not much personal association with the Supreme Lord and I don't serve him. So then he said, Prahlad said that that person is fortunate who have lot of personal association with the Supreme Lord and who has done services to the Supreme Lord. And then he says, so according to me, the best devotee is Hanuman. He said, we all know how Hanuman was constantly associated with Lord Ramchandra, how he helped in finding Mother Sita, how he helped him in making that bridge, how he helped him in getting that Sanjeevani booty for saving Lakshman, how he carried Lord on his own shoulders, how he fought bravely for the Supreme Lord, how he burned the entire Lanka just to establish the superiority of the Supreme Lord. So he said that if somebody who is doing in action the devotional service, then that devotee is Hanuman. So he said, if you want the best, go to meet Hanuman. So again here Narad Muni thanked him and he further proceeded and he meets Hanuman. So to Hanuman, he started glorifying Hanuman about all his wonderful services, what he has been doing, and he praised him and he said that you are glorious, you are wonderful, and I am so fortunate that finally I have met the best devotee. So when Hanuman heard this, Hanuman said, I think there is some mistake. And then Hanuman said that, do you remember Lord Ramchandra, he took Sugriv with him, but he left me here in this mortal world. He has left me here in this material world. He did not even take me. So he said that I am always in separation. I am not there with my Supreme Lord. So he said that much more than anything or anyone, probably the best devotees are Pandavas. And he starts describing about Pandavas, and he said that how Lord personally served them as their advisor, as their charioteer, as like being constantly with them in various time of their life, how Lord personally arranged the wedding of Arjun to Subhadra. So many examples he gave of the glories of the Pandavas. And he said, so anyone, if you are really looking for the best devotee, then you must go and meet the Pandavas. So again, Narad Muni thanked him, and he very happily, enthusiastically, he started moving towards Pandavas. So finally he met Pandavas, and he started glorifying Pandavas. And when Pandavas were glorified, the Pandavas started speaking. They said, if you know about us, we were born, and a little while after that, we have been constantly suffering. We have lost all our relatives, we have lost all our friends, and even Lord is not here anymore. So everybody has left, and we are all alone here. So they said that even we are not like happy because Lord is not here. But Lord is always there with Yadus. Lord is always there in Dwarka. Lord is always there with Uddhava. So they said Uddhava is actually the best devotee of the Lord, because Uddhava is always with the Lord. He wears the clothes which Lord wears. He looks similar to the Supreme Lord. And for his very special mission, Lord always chooses Uddhava. So like that, they described Uddhava, and they said how Uddhava is the best devotee. So again, Narad Muni thanked here, and then he proceeded towards Dwarka, and he met Uddhava. So Uddhav, if we know that Uddhav is that one person who was sent to Vrindavan by Krishna. So when Krishna was in Dwarka and Uddhav was sent, Uddhav is his very close friend, his cousin, his consultant, his minister, everything. So Krishna sent Uddhav to Vrindavan to see how people are doing there. So that is what the special mission they are talking about, that Krishna sends Uddhav for all his special missions. So anyway, so here Narad Muni met Uddhav, and he started describing the glories of Uddhav. And hearing that, Uddhav said, if you really want to meet the best devotee, I am not one of them. And then he started describing. So he said one particular event which had happened, that when Krishna was in deep sleep one day, and in his deep sleep he was calling out Radhe, Radhe, Gopi, Radhe, Lalite, Vishakhe. Like that he was calling out different names, and he was not waking up. So when this happened, and all the Yadus were lamenting as how to bring back Krishna, how to wake him up, what to do. So then it was suggested that a whole new Vrindavan is made. So a replica of Vrindavan was made in Dwarka, and then Krishna was taken there. And then when Krishna woke up there, when he reached there, then he woke up, and then he realized that he is in Vrindavan, and then he was very, very ecstatic. And at that time Balaram entered, and then he explained everything to Krishna as how he was in deep sleep, calling out gopis, calling out RadhaRani, and he was not waking up. And this is what they have done. And then he reminded Krishna of his duties and said that you are the ruler here. You are a Kshatriya. You are no more a cowherd boy. So you are in Dwarka. So like reminding him, they took him back to Dwarka. So the whole point Uddhav was making here is that the best devotee, if you want to find the best devotees of the Supreme Lord, the best devotees are the Vrajvasis. And among those Vrajvasis also, the top class devotees, the best of the best of the best, are the gopis of Vrindavan. And then he started describing that how these gopis of Vrindavan are constantly absorbed in Krishna's thought. They actually constantly, their only one point meditation is Krishna. In fact, it is described that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, because Krishna does not have a heart to leave Vrindavan, because Krishna cannot leave these gopis. So gopis, though externally to our eyes we may feel that Krishna is not there in Vrindavan, but for gopis Krishna is constantly there, because their thoughts are completely saturated, situated, absorbed in Krishna. So that is how gopis are the topmost devotees of the Supreme Lord, and they are the epitome of Vipralambha Bhav. Vipralambha means union in separation. So they are separated externally, but completely united emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They are completely and always united. And all these gopis, my dear devotees, are headed by Srimati Radharani. So we can understand the importance of Srimati Radharani. So this was the time when finally Narad Muni concluded that the best devotee of Krishna is none other than Srimati Radharani. And we are preparing ourselves to welcome that devotee. So I chose today to explain this entire story or the pastime which is mentioned in Brihad Bhagavatamrit, so that we can understand the hierarchy, so that we can understand where the gopis are, and on top of the gopis are Srimati Radharani. So now, what makes them so special? What makes them so wonderful? So the point is that there are two types of devotees. One type of devotees, they think about Krishna. They think what Krishna would be doing. Okay, so let me offer, or let me do certain thing, let me chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We think about Krishna. Like many of you ask also, when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mind goes here and there and we are not able to think about Krishna. So the whole point is that we try to think about Krishna. The second type of devotees are those who think for Krishna. So they don't think about Krishna, they think for Krishna. What will Krishna eat? Is Krishna safe? Are there some demons in Vrindavan who may attack Krishna? So this second type of devotees are the Vrajvasis. They don't think about Krishna, they think for Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, everything for Krishna's pleasure. In fact, the whole world pray to the Supreme Lord, and Vrajvasis, they pray for the Supreme Lord. So like Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, she prays that please protect my son. She prays to Vishnu that please protect my son. So that is the thought, that is the mindset of the Vrajvasis. And when we talk about Vrajvasis, the topmost amongst them, there are different types of relationship, and the best type of, or the deepest and the most intense relationship is between Shri Radha and Krishna. In fact, RadhaRani, we call her by two names. So one name of hers is Radhika. Radhika means one who is doing aradhana, or who is doing worship of Krishna. So Radhika means one who worships Krishna, and the second name is Radha, and Radha means whom Krishna worships. So that is the glory of Srimati Radharani, that Krishna himself worships and meditates and calls out Srimati Radharani. So as I was telling you that how we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Lord Krishna chants Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. In his dream he was chanting in Dwarka about Radharani. In fact, all the queens of Krishna would complain about that my husband, the moment he sleeps, he starts calling out Radharani. So this is how we chant Krishna's name, and there we have Krishna who chants Radharani's name. So that is the glories of Srimati Radharani. And this Radhasthami is the festival which marks her appearance day. So like in our Vrindavan Yatra, I am sure most of you would have attended that. So when we went to Varshana and Raval on day 3 of Vrindavan Parikrama, we described in detail about the birth of Srimati Radharani. Those of you who have not attended that, so it is available on our YouTube channel. We request you can actually go there. Day 3 of virtual Vrindavan tour. The entire description of birth is there. So because we discussed that in the last week, so today I am skipping out the birth part. We will listen to some of the glories and a beautiful pastime. So here we have this beautiful verse on your screens. Govinda Nandini Radha, Govinda Mohini, Govinda Sarvasva Sarva Kanta Shiromani. Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda. See, the first word is Govind Anandini. So one who gives Anand to Govinda. So Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda, and she is also the enchantress of Govinda. Govinda Mohini, moh kar leti hai. She attracts Krishna towards him. So she is also the enchantress of Govinda. She is the be all and end all of Govinda and the crest jewel of all his consorts. So Govinda Sarvasva Sarva Kanta Shiromani. So she is the Shiromani, she is the crest jewel of all his consorts. So that is the position of Srimati Radharani. We will read one more verse here. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kante Shir Sammohini Para. So here it is said, the transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta. So the counterpart of Krishna is Radharani. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. So even Krishna gets amazed when he sees Radharani in so much of ecstasy. Even Krishna gets amazed. Even he starts thinking that how Radharani is deriving so much of happiness in presence of Krishna. And like it is said, Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva. All the power of Lakshmi. There are so many unlimited Lakshmis, and all the power of Lakshmi comes from Srimati Radharani. Or in other words, she is the source of all the Lakshmi. And then the last line is Kanti Sammohini Para. Krishna gets attracted to Srimati Radharani. She attracts even Krishna. So going to the next one. Radha Purna Shakti Krishna Purna Shakti Man Dui Vastu Bhed Nai Shastra Praman Radha Krishna Aiche Shada Ekai Swarupa Leela Rasa Aswadite Dhare Dui Rupa. So Radha Purna Shakti, she is the complete power, full power. Krishna Purna Shaktiman, and Krishna is the possessor of that full power. So Radharani is the Shakti and Krishna is the Shaktiman. Dui Vastu Bhed Nahi Shastra Praman. There is no difference between the two of them. The two are not different. Shastra Praman. There are so many innumerable scriptural references that how they are one and the same. Radha Krishna Aiche Shada Ekai Swarup Leela Rasa Aswadita Dhare Dui Roop. So just to enjoy the pastime, just to relish the pastime, they take two different forms, whereas there are one combined one person. So Shakti and Shaktiman, they are actually one. There is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman, but here they have taken two forms. So Srimati Radharani, the whole purpose of her existence is to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is what she is up to. Her only role is to give pleasure to Krishna. So going further, there are unlimited pastimes of this divine couple, Shri Radha and Krishna. And all these pastimes, when we keep hearing repeatedly, we can actually reach at a position that it starts getting enacted within our heart. Then the time comes that we do not have to take any special efforts to concentrate and to focus, but it flows automatically. And so that is the condition of the advanced devotee. So we are the sadhakas, we are practicing, but ultimately we are expected to reach at such a position if we continue practicing, if we do our sadhana nicely. So there are advanced devotees who describe these pastimes for our welfare so that we can meditate on that, and then it becomes very easy because our mind is very chanchal, it keeps going here and there. So when we hear about these pastimes, then we can focus more on this Radha Krishna pastimes and everything. So similarly, there is one great devotee, his name is Kavi Karnapurna, and he has written a wonderful book called Anand Vrindavan Champu. So what I am going to describe now is a very sweet incident, and this is from Anand Vrindavan Champu. And so I chose this particular Leela to discuss today. So the one part of my session was about the glories of Srimati Radharani, and the second part we will be seeing a little bit of Leela. So now, proceeding further, so there was a day, like as we discussed, Radharani was in Barshana and her parents. So here you see in the picture we have Vrishbhanu and Kirtida. So Vrishbhanu and Kirtida, they started planning. Actually, what has happened is Vrishbhanu, once he was visiting Nanda Maharaj for the birth celebrations of Krishna, and he saw that it was such a detailed festival and so many things were organized so wonderfully. So Vrishbhanu Maharaj got this desire that one day I will also organize such a festival in my place, and I will invite Nand and Yashoda with their family. So finally Vrishbhanu decided the time has come and I will organize such a festival, and let me invite Nanda Maharaj with his whole family, and we will feed them nicely, and we will do something on the lines of what Nanda has done, Nanda Baba has done. So they started planning for that. So he consulted with his wife Kirtida that this is what I am planning. I am planning to invite them tomorrow, and are you ready for that? And then Kirtida was very happy when she heard that, and he said, yes, we will go ahead and we will do that. So there is this girl you see in the picture. Her name is Sucharita. So Sucharita was an assistant there staying in the house. So Sucharita was told to go, Vrishbhanu said to go and find out Srimati Radharani and tell her about this special festival, and tell RadhaRani to cook some exquisite preparations tomorrow, because Nanda Baba would be coming and we want to cook very elaborate feast. So actually RadhaRani is an expert cook, and we have discussed in, I think during Vrindavan tour, how Durvasa Muni has blessed her that whatever she will cook, if a person eats that, then he'll not fall sick and he'll have a very long life. So keeping that in mind, and because RadhaRani was a super excellent cook, so Vrishbhanu told Sucharita to go find out RadhaRani and tell to start preparations, because tomorrow there is this big day. So they were all very happy, and Sucharita goes and searches, and then she finds, so she discovers that Radharani was there with her two friends. One, her name is Vishakha, and second is Shama. So she finds Radharani with Shama and Vishakha, and she describes, and she says that your father wants you home and you start preparation now itself. And before Radharani could say anything, actually Sucharita said, you please don't dally these things. I am waiting here. Unless you go home, I am not leaving this place, because this is very, very important. And then when she looked at Vishakha, she said, you can call your friend also, your friend Lalita, who's otherwise she gives some excuses and she doesn't come up. So give up all your laziness, come and cook for Nanda, Yashoda and the whole family. So this is how they were informed. And then Radha, Vishakha, Lalita, everybody was like super thrilled. They were so excited, because this was for the first time that Radharani was getting an opportunity to serve Krishna, to cook for Krishna. So she was very, very happy. So they all reached home, and the moment they reached home, Vrishbhanu saw them, and then first she paid obeisances. So Vrishbhanu smelled her head. Like if we read these scriptures, it is described that generally when the juniors, they touch the feet, the elders, they smell the head and give the blessings. So this is the culture. So he smelled her head, and then he said, are you ready for it? Are you interested in this cooking? And then she was like, yes, father. And then he started telling, I have procured all the ingredients. He said, I have been planning for this event for such long time. I have everything stocked up in the store. So go and check the storeroom and find out if everything is there. And just in case if something is missing, then tell me immediately and I will arrange for that. So Radharani along with her Sakhis, they go to the kitchen. Sakhis means friend, for those of you who don't know. So Radharani with her Sakhis go to the kitchen. She pays obeisances to Kirtida. Kirtida is her mother. She takes her blessings. and then she starts arranging the things for the cooking. So the menu planning and the ingredients and everything, so they start working on it. So after that, simultaneously what happened is, Yashoda sends another messenger, Kirtida sends another messenger to Yashoda to inform her about the upcoming festival. So she tells, I mean, if you will read this portion of Anand Vrindavan Champu, everything is so beautifully described. So there is a message. So she is addressed that Yashoda, your name Yashoda means you spread yash. Yash is opulence. So you spread yash or opulence to everyone. So in both the kul, which means that the house where you were born and in the house where you were married, both the kul you have spread so much of opulence. So we also request you to come over to our place, because your presence will bring some yash to our house also. So like this, messenger went and she told everything. So the invitation was there and Yashoda happily accepted the invitation, and she started waiting for Krishna. Let Krishna come and I'll talk to him. So in a while, Krishna came along with all his cows and friends. The whole gang arrived. So Yashoda said that, look Krishna, tomorrow we have such an invitation. We have to go to this house. We have to go to Vrishbhanu's house. So don't go to the forest tomorrow, because we are going to other people's house. So you can tell your friends that you are not coming to the forest. So when Yashoda asked Krishna not to go, Krishna said, how can I go, Amma? How can I go without my friends? Anyone who wants to invite me should call my friends also. If they are not calling my friends, I am not going. Ideally, they should call my cows also. But if not cow, at least my friends they should call. I'll not leave my friends and go. So when Yashoda heard this, Yashoda said, okay, so you don't come. She said, okay, don't come. I'll go. We will go. You don't come. We'll take Balram. And then Krishna started feeling, oh my God, I'm missing out this opportunity. No, I have to go. So she said, okay. He said, okay, Amma, because you are saying so much. Okay, one day I will compromise. So actually the Acharyas describe, like I was telling you, that there are different types of relationship with Krishna. So there is Dasya or servant. There is Sakhya or friend. There is Vatsalya or parental. And there is Madhurya or like a lover. So all these four are one above the other. So the highest priority, the top rung is the Madhurya Ras. So when Krishna was comparing the Sakhya with Madhurya, the friends with RadhaRani. So then finally he said, okay, one day I will not go with my friend and I'll come with you. So then Krishna, Balaram, everybody got ready. So Krishna, Balaram, Rohini, Nanda, Yashoda, they were getting ready. But then Krishna said, okay, at least two of my friends you please allow, because Krishna has lot of friends, but two are very, very dear to him. So he said, I want Subal and Madhumangal to come. I'll not go without Subal and Madhumangal. So then they agreed, okay, you can take two of your friends, few friends can come, not an issue, and we will go. So next day when they got up, everybody was so happy in Vrishbhanu's house. It is described, Vrishbhanu was so happy like the rising sun. He was so brilliantly effulgent and he was very, very happy, enthusiastic. And they were all very eager. All the arrangements were made to receive Nand and Yashoda. So they were all waiting for them. And when the Yashoda was like at the city gate itself, the messengers met and they had sent a message to be read at the city gate. So there itself they were given a message that even Saraswati cannot properly describe your wonderful nature of paternal love. So that was how they greeted Yashoda, and then they requested, Yashoda and your family, you are coming to our house and we would be relieved of all the inauspiciousness. So Vrishbhanu's family, complete family, was eagerly waiting for the royal reception, and it is described that there was such lavish decoration from the city gate to all the royal road up to. In fact, in the city, there were strings of bells which were hanging. So tin, 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 they were walking and those beautiful sound from the bells were coming. So string of sweetly jingling bell then auspicious water pots. So along with the path, the water pots, full water pots were kept along with the road because it is an auspicious symbol. And then there were brass pots in which the coconut and mango leaves were kept there along the path. And the whole path was decorated with different color, multicolor lamps. And then because it was the daytime, bright time, and the sun was high there, so during the daytime it was happening, so they had arranged for the banana leaf canopy sort of thing. So they were walking under the shade of banana leaves so that the sun rays don't come on them. And then beetle trees were there, because again beetle trees are very auspicious. So beetle trees were there on both the sides, and music from kettle drums and mridanga was playing. And this is how Nanda and Yashoda with their family, they enter to Vrishbhanu's palace. And the moment they enter, first, actually it is described, first Krishna walked in and Vrishbhanu embraces Krishna, and then others started following in. And then there were proper rooms given to them, proper seating facility, and then they were taken to their rooms, and there were servants helping them to take bath and for massaging their body and all. So it was properly taken care of that the guests have arrived. So let them like relax and refresh, and then we will attend them. So this whole detailed explanation is there. And yes, I could see that some of you are writing about the beautiful pictures. So one of the devotee has personally taken effort to draw all these pictures. Her name is Vrajbhumi Devi Dasi, and we are very grateful to her for making this whole pastime a beautiful, colorful journey for us. So she has drawn all these pictures. So going further and see what happened. So they were all refreshed, and after refreshing, Mother Yashoda straight goes to the kitchen. So Yashoda reaches kitchen. Yashoda goes to the kitchen, and then she starts like observing. So it is described there were countless pots. There were countless preparations, and Srimati RadhaRani was sitting, and still she was making few items. So many varieties, and it is described that how Yashoda says that the items what you have cooked, they are tasty, they are beautiful, and they are fragrant. In fact, they are amazing delicacies. So many varieties, and actually it is said that for food, the first thing is the aroma should be very attractive, because we start feeling hunger when we start like when the aroma reaches our nostrils, and then automatically it acts as an appetizer. So first thing for the food is it should smell good. Second thing for the food is that visually it should be attractive. So sometimes we don't even try eating that food which doesn't look good. So second thing is vision should be, by vision it has to be attractive. And then the third is when we touch the food. For example, if we are touching the rasgulla and the rasgulla is not soft, we would dare not eat it also. Like if the rasgulla is like hard like a vada, then who would eat that rasgulla, right? So the touch should be appropriate, that hard things should be hard and soft things should be soft. So aroma, vision, touch, and lastly comes the taste. So all these three things, if it is attractive, then only a person would feel like tasting. So RadhaRani, what she has cooked, it was complete in all these parameters. So Yashoda starts describing, and Yashoda starts feeling so happy. Yashoda says that I am delighted just by seeing, just by the sight of this, I am delighted. And then she starts describing Srimati RadhaRani. So she says that you are the ripened fruit of Vrishbhanu's piety. She says Vrishbhanu, King Vrishbhanu has done so much of pious deed that as a result you are the fruit which he has got. And then she says you are the rare jewel of best qualities, beautiful creeper. She says you are like a beautiful creeper of sandalwood. You are such beautiful flower from Nandakannan garden. So like that she goes on and on glorifying Srimati RadhaRani. And RadhaRani was feeling so shy and embarrassed, and she was like just fidgeting in her place, and she didn't know what to do and how to talk and what to say. And Yashoda, in that time actually Kirtida walks in the kitchen. So Yashoda turned towards Kirtida and she starts asking, why did you ask this small girl to cook so many items? Generally the housewives, they cook the items, and you have asked your young little daughter to cook so many varieties. Why did you do that? So Kirtida said, actually she is cooking on her own. Kirtida said that her father told her to cook few specialty items. And then Kirtida says that whatever you see here are just the special items. Otherwise, the bulk cooking is happening in other kitchen also. So Kirtida said, I and others are already cooking somewhere else, and these unlimited countless items are just these special items what RadhaRani has cooked on her own. So they just start talking, and then there were these Sakhis also. So Shama Sakhi was there, Vishakha, Lalita was there. So when Yashoda saw Shama, she said, oh Radha and Sham, your pair is very nice. So actually she was hinting towards this Shama Sakhi. But then it sounded as if he's talking about Sham Sundar Krishna. So Radha went even more, like she was even more embarrassed, and she turned all pink and she was blushing profusely because she was reminded of Sham Sundar Krishna. So this was going on, and then Yashoda said, okay, so the cooking is over. Now what about serving? So Rohini was also there. So Yashoda said Rohini is an expert in serving. So Rohini can guide how the serving has to happen, and Radha and her friends can serve people who are sitting in the veranda. So actually there was a gem-studded veranda where there was proper elaborate arrangement for Nand Baba and Krishna Balram and his friends to sit there. So Yashoda said that RadhaRani with her friends can serve there. So RadhaRani spoke her first few words, and she said that I will serve Mother Yashoda inside and let my friends go and serve outside, because Radha was feeling so shy going in front of Krishna. So she was like, I will be here and my friends can go and serve outside. And then the friend said, actually Mother Rohini can serve outside and we will be serving here only, we will be here only. So on that Yashoda looked at RadhaRani and said that for a woman, it is not only important to learn how to cook, it is equally important to know how to serve. So come, you have to serve and I will teach you how to serve. So like that she authoritatively said, and then she walked out. So then RadhaRani was left with no option but to serve Krishna, and she was feeling all the more embarrassed because she had to serve Krishna in presence of all the elders with all eyes watching her. And it was no secret, like everybody in the village actually wanted Radha and Krishna to be united. So they would keep talking things like that. So she was very, very embarrassed, but then finally she came out to serve. So as you see here in the picture, so here we had Nand Baba sitting, on one side Krishna, on the other side Balaram, and next to Krishna is his friend Subal and Madhu Mangal. So all five of them were sitting there for honoring Prasad. So when RadhaRani came, what she did is she served Nanda Baba and then she went towards Balaram, and she left the other side that Shama Sakhi and Vishakha will go and serve that side. So she very cleverly, she goes the other side. And here Yashoda Maiya again says that Radha, you are not serving Krishna, go and serve Krishna. So like that she was like really pushed into it, and then she served and she was serving and waiting, and Krishna was very embarrassed. Krishna did not know what to speak, though he keeps speaking so much, but here Krishna was also quiet and he was eating. And as you see in the picture, there is a parrot sitting on Krishna's shoulder, so that is Krishna's parrot. So Krishna was eating and little bit he was feeding his parrot. So he was focusing just on food. And then there is this Krishna's friend Madhu Mangal. Now Madhu Mangal is very, very fond of eating. And second thing he is very fond of is speaking. So he utilizes his tongue to the maximum. So he eats, he tastes nice food and he keeps speaking. So now he started telling, so he starts talking it out. So first he says that I am a Brahman. Madhu Mangal is the only person in the whole gang who is a Brahman. So Madhu Mangal says, I am a Brahman and I have eaten at hundreds of places, but I have never eaten such tasty food. So he was about to speak more and Krishna said, okay, keep quiet and eat. Don't talk so much. So Madhu Mangal said, how is it possible not to glorify this food? If I had 100 mouths, I would have eaten with all 100 mouths and I would have glorified with all 100 mouths. And I am so anxious that what will I do when I'll never get such tasty food again? I am so anxious also. So Madhu was saying that I am very happy because I get such a good food, and I am very anxious about what will I do next, because otherwise I will not get such a good food. So he was talking. And Krishna was like, shoo, be quiet, don't speak. So he was like, you are not letting me speak. This is just not fair. And then Krishna was eating, and Krishna was like, he made a face like he didn't like or things, I mean something in his embarrassment he did. And the moment he did his plate a little away, Madhu jumped on it and he started eating from that also. And he said, it's so nice, I'll eat. So anyway, so Krishna also started eating, and they were all eating. And there was this parrot who was like sticking out his neck a little. So Yashoda saw that, and Yashoda said, oh Dvija, you want to say something? Now those days parrots also talk. So please don't send the question that how is it possible that the parrot can talk, but then those days parrots would also talk. So Yashoda, when she notices that, so Yashoda said, oh Dvija, you want to say something? So now Dvija is an address for someone who takes birth twice. So generally Dvija means a Brahman, because a Brahman takes birth, one from his mother's womb, and second time when he gets his sacred Upnayanam done, when he gets his Janeu Pavitra. So that is his second birth. So when Yashoda said Dvija, she was actually referring to the parrot. And why was she referring to the parrot? Because parrot also take, all the birds rather, it is said that the birds also take birth twice. So once is when they come into the egg, and second is when the egg is broken and they come out into the real life. So she was addressing her, she's saying, actually she said Dvijaraj. So she said, oh Dvijaraj, you want to say something? So the moment she spoke this much, and Madhu Mangal was like, thank you Maya, I wanted to say something and this Kanha was not letting me speak. And I am so happy that finally somebody has accepted me, that I am the Dvijaraj, I am the best of the Brahmanas. So Yashoda said, I am not asking to you, I am talking to the parrot. So then he was a little quiet, and then parrot also started glorifying the food. So the best thing is that everybody was just loving the food. In fact, Nand Baba also said that this is probably one of the best food what I have ever eaten. And yes, and when Madhu Mangal was speaking, so he started comparing RadhaRani with all the demigoddesses, and he started saying that how RadhaRani's cooking is just like from heavenly planet. So when this parrot was given an opportunity to speak, he interrupted and he said, how can you compare Radharani with demigods? She is not a demigod. She is Sakshat Lakshmi Devi herself. She is more powerful than Lakshmi. So like that argument started happening, and Radharani felt even more embarrassed. So on pretext of getting something, she went inside the kitchen, and to her followed Shama and Vishakha. So when they reached in the kitchen, they removed their veil and they started giggling and laughing, and the girls started making fun of Radharani, and they were like, okay, I'll not go outside, you go and serve. So when this all was happening, Yashoda Maiya again came in the kitchen and said, you have not yet finished serving, come out and serve. So then they were called again. So everyone finished eating prasad, and then Nanda Baba said that I could taste all 6 types of taste in this food what Radharani has cooked. So there are 6 types of food: bitter, sweet, salty, astringent, pungent and sour. So he said that the food comprises of all various tastes. It gave such good variety of experience. So I am very, very happy. And then after they all ate, then Vrishbhanu brought the tambula. Tambula is pan. So he brought tambula, he gives different types of ornaments, he garlanded everybody, he applied sandalwood pulp for them. So this is how the whole lunch pastime gets over. And when this happens, Yashoda Maiya goes to the kitchen. So she goes to the kitchen and she starts glorifying Radharani once again. And she starts telling that this food was so good, and I have never seen my Kanha eat so enthusiastically. He was eating so happily, he was eating so enthusiastically. So I have a request. From this day onwards, can you come daily to Nandgaon and cook for my Krishna? Because from today onwards, Krishna will eat the food, only the food which is cooked by you. So everyone was so pleased, happy, and RadhaRani was completely delighted when she heard this offer. But then within her, she was thinking, I don't know how it is appropriate, what my mother will say, can I go, can I not go? And then she was also feeling very shy that everybody is glorifying the food so much. So Yashoda said, you should not feel, being humble, feeling humble is nice, but you should not feel very embarrassed because I am just stating the fact. And you have the blessing of Durvasa Muni also, that whatever you will cook, a person who eats will have long life and will not fall sick. So I'll be very happy if you can cook for Krishna. And then Yashoda says, but then I know that you will not accept anything without your parents' permission. So I will ask Kirtida also. And by this time, Kirtida came into the kitchen. So Yashoda briefed Kirtida and Kirtida said, yes, definitely RadhaRani will cook. And she has a special technique. But the thing is that your kitchen may be different from the requirements what RadhaRani has. So what do we do? How do we resolve that? So then it was decided, there is this Pavan Sarovar. We took you to Pavan Sarovar one day. So it was decided that at Pavan Sarovar, a new kitchen would be constructed. And that kitchen would have 50 burners. And RadhaRani would cook on 50 burners simultaneously. So like when we are cooking and we are able to use our 3 or 4 burners, we feel very proud of ourselves that we are cooking at 4 burners simultaneously. RadhaRani was cooking at 50 burners simultaneously. And this is how she started cooking different vyanjan, different pakwan, different varieties of food for Krishna. So the thing is that RadhaRani, because day one when they were invited, she accepted that service nicely. So what happened as a result? She gets that service eternally. It has been decided that she would be cooking continuously for Krishna. So when we do seva, when we do service, this is what is our fortune. When we do a job, we get some money as a reward. But when we do a service, the reward is more service. So we do some service and we get more service, and we do more service and we get more service, and we do more service and we get more and more and more service. So this is the blessing of Srimati RadhaRani. And so this is how we have to aspire to serve this divine couple, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And we pray on this beautiful day of tomorrow, on Radhashtami's occasion, to be eternally engaged in the service of this divine couple. So the more we serve, like as we were describing that Krishna eats food cooked by RadhaRani. So when we are cooking, we must have that consciousness that we are serving under Srimati RadhaRani. It is my effort to serve Krishna under Srimati RadhaRani. So falling at her feet, let's pray for unlimited service. So tomorrow is Radhashtami, and this festival is very sweet and simple. And to observe this, we request all the participants here, we observe a fasting till 12 o'clock. So till 12 o'clock, we do not eat anything and we are busy cooking things. So at 12 o'clock, whatever things we can prepare, we offer everything to Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Remember, without onion and garlic. So different varieties, you can make different varieties of murku, vadai, anything, sweet, snacks, savories. So all the varieties of cooking, I encourage each one of you to cook at least 11 items. So keep your minimum tab of 11 items. So 11 items you cook tomorrow for Srimati RadhaRani. Get a tulsi leaf, keep on all these 11 items. Pray to Shri Shri Radha Krishna to come to your home and accept this offering. So with this, we will take leave, and I hope that you all have a blissful Radhashtami festival. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Yugala Kishore, Yugala Kishore, युगल किशोर